One of the easiest ways to guarantee success for your marketing agency is to focus on the right niche from day one. So not just any group of random customers, but the people who will pay you well, stick around, and tell millions of other people about how great of a service provider that you are. So in this video, we're going to talk about exactly how to research a market, what questions you need to answer to sign these people, and how to spot gold mine opportunities that every other agency on the planet is missing. If you guys want more clients, more sales, and marketing that actually works, you should subscribe, because that is what all of my videos are built to help you do. Now, of course, the first thing we need to talk about is how to go about choosing this niche, right? So a good rule of thumb is to pick some industry that you have a level of prerequisite knowledge of, or that you've already got some connections in, right? So let's say you really love technology or coding, you could work with software companies. If you're really into biology, you could work with hospitals or medical technology firms. Or if you've got family members that are really deep in the world of accounting, you could go with that. Now, of course, you don't have to do any of that, and you could just pick a niche from this master list that I've got here for you guys. Now, this entire Google document is going to be in the description of this video for you to copy. Now, this document here has everything from e-commerce niches, local business niches, marketing technology, software, some other ones too, even some service niches like types of consulting and the actual kinds of marketing that you can offer. And again, this entire document with this link will be in the description. Now, here are the most important core rules that you need to follow when you're choosing your market. And these are all non-negotiable. Number one is that the total addressable market needs to be at least 1 million people. This is really simple. If the pool of people you are trying to sell to is too small, you're going to run out of prospects before you gain any traction in your business. And if you don't have enough people, you don't have enough people to test your different kinds of offers on, whether that is consulting, different kinds of services, courses, whatever it might be, and then pivot around those offers. Number two is these people that you're talking to need to have money to spend, right? If they're passionate, that's nice, but if this niche can't afford whatever you're selling, you are building a business on hope instead of basic economics, right? You could always ask the question, does this audience already spend money on the thing I'm trying to sell them? If the answer is yes, you are probably stepping into a validated market. Now, a very important caveat here is that there are two kinds of agencies. You either work with a few clients that pay you a lot of money, or a lot of clients that pay you a reasonable but smaller amount of money. So if you choose a niche like landscaping or local painters, you are almost always going to be building a volume-based agency, so signing a lot of smaller clients. And this is not a bad thing. I did it for my first company. Just changes how you price, sell, and deliver your services. Number three is that there are reliable, repeatable ways to reach them. So even you have the most perfect ideal client profile, right? That is worthless if you can't talk to them, right? So whether it's through LinkedIn, cold email, trade shows, industry directories, different kinds of paid ads on, let's say, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, you need to have some proven way to get in touch with these people consistently. Now, of course, the second step in this process is going to be to research the market that we just chose. Now, what are we looking for? We're looking for patterns. So we're looking for the recurring frustrations, the unmet needs, and the things that people repeatedly say that they wish they had in this market, right? Now, there's two main routes that we're going to take to go about that. Firstly is the paid route. All this means is just paying experts to get on Zoom calls with us and explain all the nuances of their market. This cuts the line and speeds things up dramatically, and it's especially important if you're working in a multi-million-dollar or multi-billion-dollar industry like private equity or healthcare, because there's a lot of boards of directors and C-level executives that you can learn a ton from. You can use any expert network. Zintro is one that I've personally had a lot of success with in the past. Now, what most of us are going to be doing is using the free route, which is going very deep into niche blogs, Quora, Reddit, using a tool like Say It that I have here for you guys. All this is it takes an initial Reddit thread that you put in, like landscaping, and it spiderwebs out a bunch of related Reddit threads. Now, this can help you not only understand your market a little bit more and get some context, but you might even find an underserved subcategory of the initial niche that you picked. Now, you can also look at Facebook groups, conduct your own client interviews, or just ask AI to scrape the internet for answers from your market. Now, when we're doing this market research, we need to answer the following 5 questions. Now, let's say, for example, we're working with local landscapers. First question we need to answer is, what is the problem that they want solved? Now, landscapers want more qualified local leads. That's not just people asking for quotes and price shopping, but they want homeowners and property managers that are ready to pay for recurring services, ideally. They usually rely very heavily on word of mouth and seasonal demand, so they're always, looking for new ways to keep their crews busy. Now, Second question is, what is the average story of most landscaping business owners? So most of them are small, they're owner operated, and they started with a truck, a lawnmower, and a dream, basically. They've built quite a good reputation in their local community, but their current growth is plateaued because they don't have a marketing partner like you to show them the systems they need to scale their business. Now, the third question is what keeps them up at night. So they're worried about the off-season dip mainly. So when revenue drops and they still need to pay their crews and keep the lights on at home for their family, they're really stressed about their competition undercutting them on price and taking their market share. And they're just frustrated in general because they feel invisible on the internet, even though they've had plenty of happy customers, right? Now, the fourth question is, why would they buy from you? So because solving these problems means more predictable revenue and less stress. Remember, these people have families, they have kids to feed. It's very important that their business is successful. So if they can get steady leads coming in every single month, they can plan their staffing better, upsell higher margin services like hardscaping or bigger packages, and grow their company. And lastly, what objections will they have when you pitch them? The main objection they're going to have for you is that they've usually tried a lot of different marketing strategies before and it didn't work. They're very worried that they're going to waste money on ads and waste money on SEO services and not see any results. Primarily because they've been burned by some marketing agency in the past that made some big promise to them and underdelivered. Now, it is extremely important that you understand the answers to these 5 questions because it will uncover to you the emotional drivers and the logical reasons behind why your market would buy a service from you. If you don't understand these, there is no way that you can write good copy or create any kind of offer to your market that would really connect with them. Now, step 3 is really simple. We just need to find out where the market that we've chosen hangs out on the internet so we can pitch them our services, right? So for example, if I want to work with wedding videographers, I know based on my market research that they live on Instagram and Pinterest because that's where they're showcasing their work and they're finding inspiration for new video content. They do check their email because they're looking for their own leads and inquiries, but they're not active on LinkedIn at all. So I would recognize that my outreach strategy should center around Instagram DMs and email with Facebook groups or communities as a secondary channel and nothing on LinkedIn. Now, if I want to work with fitness coaches, it'll be a lot different, right? So these people are highly active on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube because they post a ton of short form and long form content and social proof to grow their own audience and build trust, right? They do check their email because they're obviously looking for program signups and client communication, and sometimes they're active on Twitter, but it's not usually a primary growth channel. So in order to get fitness coaching clients, I want to be active by posting my own short form content and DMing them on Instagram, and then support that with an email nurture sequence that turns those followers that I've gained into clients. And now the final step in our research process is to niche down as hard as we possibly can, especially if the market that we've chosen feels crowded initially, right? So instead of just saying, I want to work with law firms in Texas, right? We can go one step deeper than that. We could say, I only am going to work with law firms in Texas that are making over $100,000 per month. And when I'm segmenting my lead lists on something like Apollo or Uplead, you can filter by this, right? If we feel that that is still too crowded, we can niche down again. So I can say, I want to only work with law firms in Texas making $100,000 per month that specialize in corporate law, right? Now, if that is somehow still too competitive, we can even niche down by trigger events. So I can say law firms in Texas making $100,000 per month that specialize in corporate law and are actively hiring paralegals because that signals growth and that they have the budget to pay you for another kind of marketing service. Now, lastly here, we're going to talk about some more advanced market research tactics and some other niche skills that you should know. So if you want to go next level, what you can do is scrape all of the reviews for your niche from a website like Clutch, and then organize that data into a spreadsheet. So you can filter it by recurring complaints, things your market typically praises, and then things they typically request. And then all you need to do is feed that data into an AI and then ask the questions that we already talked about. So what are the top pain points in these reviews? What do customers most frequently praise? And what unmet needs or opportunities are revealed by this data, right? So this is going to give you very deep insight that's usually invisible to all of your competitors who are relying on simple Google searches, right? Now, the last thing we need to talk about is the concept of inefficient markets. So all an inefficient market is that means customers want something, but there's no good options for it yet, right? So in practice, that looks like an industry that's slow to adopt new technology, a group of businesses that all look the same, or some kind of market where the buyers struggle to find the right information to help them grow their company, right? So what do we want to look for? We want to look for rapidly changing markets, so think AI, renewable energy, unexplored opportunities like plant-based food when it was relatively new, a lack of differentiation, so markets where all of the businesses look the exact same.
That man's an imposter. That man is the imposter.
And information asymmetry, which would be the most important one. So this is where buyers know way less than the sellers, and you, as the marketer, can be the bridge, right? So think local business owners that know that they need referrals and they need Google reviews, but they don't know anything about keyword mapping or technical SEO. So if you guys start following these market research strategies, you're gonna stop guessing, you're gonna start building offers that people actually want to buy. So if you guys found this video helpful, drop a like, hit subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions about market research. Take care.